on the wall over here that has the little arches, you can see the drain pipes that just end nowhere. Originally there would have been a roof above that, but they've taken off the roof to add the next floor on, the fourth floor. Now, you can see over here a little piece that is different to the other. This is those two arches. You know with the two arches we saw out on George, that accounts for that piece there. So when the developer took over, there was a wall here, and they punched a hole into that wall and put that doorway there in keeping with the second architect, Vernon. But there was also a wall here, and they punched a hole into this wall to reveal the staircase in behind us. Now the staircase just goes down one floor to the third floor where it originally started. There are 240 steps up to the level of the clock, and every day for 40 years, Henry Daly, the man who had won the contract for the clock and the bells, climbed the stairs. Now he would tinker with the bells to make sure that they were in tune, but he would also need to reset the time from time to time. And to do that, he used the old colonial method. Now, the old colonial method is a method that they used all around the world in the 1800s in port cities. In port cities, you'd have these ships coming in, and they would need to set their time to local time. So cannons would fire at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and the ships would be able to adjust their timepieces. To do that here in Sydney, to get the correct time, up on top of Observatory Hill, the observatory has a pole with a big yellow ball on it, and at exactly 1 o'clock the ball would be dropped from the pole, and then the ships, the cannons would see that and they would fire. But Henry Daly would also be able to see that from where he was up there. Now, sadly, I can't take you up there. Yeah, it is. The clock tower is open to the elements, so there's a health and safety risk in taking people up there. Even I have been able to go up a couple of times, but I've got to have a security guard with me every time that I've been up, so it's not practical taking up two rooms. But I can take you out into one of those big rooms this way. Well, today I can. Ladies over there. The ladies were over there. This was the men. It's a great favourite of the brides. Yeah. Today it's known as the Heritage Ballroom, and it's the second largest function space here at the Fullerton Hotel. Their largest function space is a modern space underneath the reception area. Going back to when it opened in the early 20th century, 200 men would have worked out of this room, but not here all at once. They would have been on a shift. There were 2 shifts, a day shift and a night shift. The messages would come in through Morse code, and they would be transcribed into English. And then they had pneumatic tubes that went down into the basement. Do you all know what I mean by pneumatic tubes?
Yeah.
These were tubes. You'd often see them in shops where they used to send money from one side of the shop to the other. They still use pneumatic tubes in hospitals. It's a quick way to get scripts and things like that around the hospital. So they had these pneumatic tubes that went down into the basement, and once they got down there, the telegraph boys would just pick them up and take them off to be delivered. But interestingly, as time went by, the post office would connect itself with a pneumatic tube to other places. The first place that they connected to was that other telegraph office down in Bridge Street. And then there were post offices in the city of Sydney, Haymarket, for instance. There was this direct connection to Haymarket. But there are even institutions here in Sydney. For instance, the Sydney Morning Herald used to have offices about 2-3 blocks down Pitt Street. They had a direct pneumatic tube to the post office. Other interesting thing here is the clock. Now this one is the 3-sided clock on George Street, and we refer to this clock as Little Brother. Little Brother because it's small compared to the clock in the clock tower. But if you come over here, and look out the window at its face, you'll see it's not so little. It's a big clock.
Oh.
That's a big chunk of metal and glass that they bolted to the side of a sandstone building.